This is the story of how a 15-year-old girl ran away from home, became an international terrorist, and how her fight to return raises a fundamental question about justice. On a cold February morning in 2015, Shamima Begum left her home here in Bethnal Green in London for the final time. She secretly flew to Turkey with two friends, and within days they'd been smuggled into Syria. They'd fallen for the propaganda of the self-styled Islamic State group. The militants told a well-crafted lie. Be part of our utopia, they said. So you're shot or decapitated for disagreeing. And every Brit who joined them encouraged others to follow.
2 weeks ago, we got a clash through here.
Leave your decadent Western lifestyle behind, they said. Marry a foreign fighter. Have babies. And within a few weeks, Shamima Begum went from GCSEs to jihadi bride. This Dutch fighter, 7 years older, took her as his own. It wasn't going to be a happy ever after. The regime began to collapse as an international coalition bombed it to bits. Both Shamima's friends are now believed to be dead. Her own babies, a boy and a girl, died within weeks of each other. And as 2018 ended, her thoughts finally turned to home and the country that she'd rejected.
I just want forgiveness, really, from the UK. Like everything I've been through, I didn't expect I would go through that, and, you know, losing my children the way I lost them.
Shamima Begum survived the fall of the self-styled Islamic State. Her third baby, born in the squalid camp that was now her home, didn't. And back here at Parliament, her interviews caused uproar.
They hate our country and the values that we stand for.
Shamima said she wanted to come back home, but ministers said she was still a threat, and so they used an exceptional power to deprive her of her British citizenship, and that meant she could never get back in. That's been used more than 150 times against other terrorism suspects, men like these.
So I was definitely an enemy of Britain.
What did you do in IS?
Question I prefer to decline to answer at this present stage.
But this is where it gets legally complicated. The government took away Shamima's British citizenship because of her heritage. They said she could ask Bangladesh for a passport, but Bangladesh doesn't want her. She could even be hanged if she turned up. It was all going to end up in the courts. Shamima Begum is fighting to remain British. Her lawyers say she's prepared to face justice, but she can't defend herself from a dangerous refugee camp in northern Syria. And in July of this year, the Court of Appeal ruled that the only way in which she can have a fair and effective appeal is to be permitted to come into the United Kingdom. In short, fairness and justice must outweigh national security concerns. And that's why the case is now here at the Supreme Court. Under the law, we're all entitled to a fair hearing before a judge, whether we're good or bad. But does that mean that the government should help Shamima Begum leave her camp to take part in this legal battle in London? Well, only the Supreme Court can now decide that. And its answer to that fundamental question of law is far bigger than the fate of Shamima Begum alone.